Bine vă regăsim la Noi Venim din Viitor, un podcast de poveste cu oameni din viitor. Sunt Florin Constantin și moderez ediția Agritech, unde povestim despre viitorul agriculturii din România. Îl avem astăzi cu noi pe Boualem Saïdi, Senior Bayer Representative and Country Group Head for Romania, Bulgaria and Moldova de la compania Bayer. Boualem, bine ai venit în podcastul nostru și la Noi Venim din Viitor.
Thank you very much. Extremely happy to be here, Florin.
Look, what is your personal history and how did you end up to work in the Romanian agriculture?
Great question. I will not tell you the entire story of my life, but maybe just a few things that are maybe helping to explain who I am and why I am here today. I would like to start with a personal story. I was born in Algeria, in North Africa. My two grandmothers were small farmers, smallholder farmers, having 2-3 hectares each. I'm French as well. I studied in France. I'm an agronomist by education. And now I work for Bayer for 30 years. I had the privilege and the chance to work in different parts of the world for Bayer. I started in France, went to North Africa, to Korea in Asia, to Turkey, to Spain, in the global headquarters in Germany, and now here in Romania. What I would say drove me all over these countries and continents, it's really the passion for agriculture, the passion to contribute with my knowledge, with my expertise, but as well to learn on how to contribute for agricultural development. And why I'm here in Romania right now, when I was a few years back in Germany in the global headquarters, clearly Romania appeared as one of the top countries in Europe for agriculture. This is for me, one of the most fascinating markets. Agriculture is really important, not only from, I would say, economic perspective, because it has a social role, which is extremely important. More than 20% of the entire population, the workforce in Romania, is in agriculture. And really was excited to be part of this adventure here in Romania. And my family loved it. So we came for business, and as well, since we are here, family is extremely happy to live here as well.
Okay, nice to hear that. Thank you very much for the appreciation. With someone like you, with such a big international exposure, how would you compare Romania to other regions in Europe or in the world? How is our agriculture today?
I think Romania, I mentioned it's a fascinating country in many aspects, but for agriculture as well. I worked for more than 10 years in France, in other part of Europe. What I really believe that the Romanian agriculture is one of the most developed one. It's due to I would say, to the traditions, to the typology of the farms. It's a lot of smallholders, but we have as well very big farms. And I do believe that this is one of the agriculture that has the most advanced, I would say, development in terms of adopting the new technologies, digital farming, regenerative agriculture, in order not only to continue producing as high as possible in terms of performance, but start as well preserving the nature. I think it's a really land of opportunities.
Do you see the farm today, Romanian or elsewhere,
yes,
populated only with robots? How would that look?
I think it's maybe a few years back we would imagine this is science fiction, but in the reality, this is already becoming coming in real life. I do imagine that the farmers will be using more and more tools that are helping them to be efficient, helping them to get the real data on time, and as well, taking the sustainability as one of the key strategic direction for them. By using more and more, I would say, tools or robots or drones or sensors or satellite, this will help them to do a better job. And I would imagine that this is becoming reality day after day. And I would even expect that it happens faster in Romania than in many other European countries, because the mindset of farmers here are more entrepreneurs, business-oriented, and open technology, to the technology.
My mother, who's a teacher in a rural area, she told me, look, it was a marvel for us to see a tractor 40 years ago. Now, why not robots? I mean, they came and now we have these marvelous tractors, €500,000 worth or more,
Yes.
that are everywhere, and they contributed to increase the productivity of the Romanian agriculture. Now, my question is, you work at Bayer. Bayer, it's a leader of the segment, of the sector, of the agribusiness and other sectors as well. What do you do to bring more digital factor and more artificial intelligence in the agricultural sector? Are there any aspects that you would like to emphasize?
I think that's a really great question. And I think we are not only the leader in the business of crop protection or seeds, we would like as well to be the leader in bringing the best tools that are digital farming, precision agriculture tools, helping the farmers to leverage data, having access to the right insights in order to take the right decisions for their crops. What we are doing, we have, some years ago, we have launched Climate Field View. This is the most comprehensive platform that is leveraging data coming from the field itself or from satellite images about the crop, about the moisture in the soil, about the development of pests or weeds, and helping the farmers to see the real picture in real time and therefore take the right decisions, agronomic decisions. We are even enabling the farmers to take decisions to reduce our products. Why to treat the entire field if the pressure it's only in some spots? We are enabling him to have the real, I would say, view on what's going on in the field and to apply the right products at the right moment when it's needed.
I know some farmers that are using this solution, and they will come or they have come already in our podcast here.
Yes.
But my personal question, why do you call it Climate Field View?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Because some years ago, we acquired a company, and the name of the company is Climate.
Okay.
And Field View, this is the brand of the platform that we are using. I like the fact that it's climate, because for me, one of the challenges that farmers are really facing and really becoming more and more, I would say, an issue, it's the climate change. So I think the digital tool should help the farmers to mitigate the change, the climate change.
Well, the farm, it's a factory under the open sky, so yes. Climate, it's a factor, absolutely. Right? In your long experience in the agribusiness sector, can you bring up some successes and also some failures of the AgTech initiatives? I mean, that you can remember, that can be evocative, illustrative?
I could think about a couple examples. Success, I can maybe rely on example that we are having here in Romania. You know, with the climate change, with the level of moisture in the soil, we are even telling to the farmers, don't plant your corn with the same density everywhere. Make sure that when you invest where you have potential to grow. And we are coming with prescriptions, with Climate Field View, telling him, put this density here and invest less here, because the potential, it's probably less important. So I think it helps very well into that. The other example I could mention as well, it's much more developed in other countries. I would like to bring it here in Romania and accelerate the adoption. It's the carbon model. It's how to help farmers while doing, I would say, their agronomic practices. They can store more carbon from the atmosphere and stock it in the soil. This has very, I would say, positive effect for the soil. It helps the soil to be more healthier, having more organic matters. At the same time, this is helping the planets to be, I would say, cleaner. And the farmers doing that, they will be paid for that because there is a carbon market and trading. So, and the digital tools really help to do so and to measure the positive impact this is bringing. You asked me to bring another example of failures. Some years ago, I was product or crop manager in France. It was maybe 15, 16 years ago.
Hard market, France.
Very hard market, but very, very, very interesting one because it's highly, I would say, competitive, but with high expertise. We developed kind of models predicting disease development. It was in the early stage of digital farming, and I remember we launched a new product to predict the disease on wheat, and we totally failed. The predictions were not, I would say, 100% accurate. In that time, when it was maybe 60% accurate, it was great already. And I remember some of the trials, and even some situations with some farmers. We really had something that was not expected at all. It's okay when you predict that the disease will be there and finally it's not there, but when you predict there is no disease and finally the farmer faced the issue and he relied on you, then he comes to you and says, here we need to talk. So we had this. I think the key learning of that is that we did not stop investing and developing this kind of models or tools. We worked more with the farmers in order to incorporate their feedback. We worked together in order to fine-tune the models and make them more accurate.
We are in 2050.
Yes.
What has happened in the Romanian agriculture ever since? I mean, since 2024 until 2050. What has happened? Let's look backwards.
I think it's fantastic development. If we look backward 20, 30 years ago, how the Romanian agriculture has developed. Could you imagine? Some decades ago, we were using a lot of natural resources in order to produce less food than today. Today, we use much, much less natural resources. I see the farmers fully engaged and committed to regenerative agriculture. I remember 30 years ago, in 2024, to produce, let's say, 1 hectare of cereals were producing at best maybe 7, 8, 10 tons per hectare of wheat. Now we can really probably produce 20. Then this is helping to feed a bigger population, but at the same time we are using much less land than before. We can produce much more with less land, with less resources, and this has been possible based on the progress of innovation. We were able to bring fantastic new hybrids, even in wheat. It's not only in corn, oilseed rape, or sunflower. Can you imagine? In 2024, the wheat, I would say, portion was less than 1 or 2%.
In hybrids? In
hybrids. Now it's probably close to 100%. The second thing that was really remarkable is the full integration of high tech. When you go now in the field, I remember when I was a kid at school, when they were asking us, draw a farm, it's a field with a tractor. Now the landscape is different. You see drones You see robots that are picking the weeds. We are using much less crop protection product than a few decades ago. And the farmer can harvest during the night because the combines are fully automated and it works by itself. Then the farmer can really focus on something else. It's remarkable how in a couple of decades there was another kind of new green revolution, thanks to technology.
I propose to you to come back in 2050 here,
yes,
and check how much was realized until then. Thank you for the backwards look. It's sure that agriculture is becoming a sector where producing more with less resources is a paramount importance. Now I want to look also for the ultimate beneficiary of the agro-food chain.
Yes.
You work in the upstream of the value chain, but the consumer is there. I mean, we need to put food in the plate.
Absolutely.
What do you think are the main challenges the consumer today is facing in his relationship with food?
I think it's a really a very good perspective to bring is the one from consumers. Consumers, where do they buy their food? The connection with the food, it's if they buy it from the supermarket. What I like in Romania, you can go even in open market like Obor. I go personally with my family to Obor because I love the products there. I love the experience there. So, but they don't know exactly how the food is produced. Not always. I think in Romania it's better, much better than many other European countries because the connection with the villages, the connection with the farms is still strong. But in many countries, the consumer don't know where the food is coming from and how it is produced. And so we need to explain. We need to explain how the food is produced by farmers in the field. It requires water, it requires the right climate, it requires crop protection, it requires high technology in order to be able to produce affordable, safe, and enough quantities for everyone.
So you say transparency, that is of a matter.
It's transparency, but I want to explain where this is coming from. You know, I told you I came from family of farmers. I would like as well that we put into perspective the role of the farmers. For me, it's kind of heroes. And these heroes are not known by the consumers. Sometimes today...
or they are misunderstood by the consumers.
They are misunderstood, or they do not exist in their mind map. And it's important to help them to understand who are the ones that are producing food and why it's very important to respect them and to give them the right, I would say, place in the society. In many societies, in many countries, you know, the price of the commodity is very low. They are the ones, it's maybe a paradox. Some farmers that are producing food are starving. And we need really to help the society to understand how these farmers, heroes, play a key role. And we need to make sure that they remain here and they remain wealthy and healthy.
Boalem, the food consumer that goes to Obor to supply the best ingredients, how much innovation, how much tradition in your plate? And what you like to cook and eat?
I really love both types of food. I would say traditional food like sarmale, mamaliga. I love, you know, I go to Obor. Whenever I go to Obor, there is, I was told there is the best mich of Bucharest in Obor.
Sure.
So at the line to get the mich, if you go there at 11:30, it's you have to wait something like 1 hour in order to access. I love that, and I love as well. I would say modern and sophisticated cuisine. I have the chance to be French and Algerian. It's very rich as well. cuisine. So I'm very open. I love fruits and vegetables. I worked in Asia, contributed there to produce rice. I was in Turkey producing cotton, which is not a crop that we eat, but this is it's used for fibers for our clothes. So I have very high connection. I'm with the food. I love gastronomy. I love wine. This is really one of my kind of hobby. And here, since I'm in Romania, I love French wines, but I'm amazed by the quality of the wines in Romania, Republic of Moldova. So it goes very well together.
Right. Coming back on, let's say, more professional matters.
Yes.
I know that sustainability, it's a topic that you engage upon seriously in all kind of instances. Do you have sometimes the impression that we eat the planet on a slice of bread? Or what can we do to enhance this famous sustainability concept?
Yes, I think sustainability, I would start with a very positive note. I'm in this area of agriculture for 30 years now, almost. I saw the sustainability, regenerative agriculture being taken more and more seriously. And I really believe now we are in the phase where it's not about just thinking about it, but it's more to put it into action. I think the level of awareness, the level of, many players putting in the heart of their strategy, it's growing. And this is the case of Bayer. We really believe that if you want to be successful from a business perspective in the future, we need to put sustainability in the heart of on our strategy. There is no business strategy and sustainability strategy. It's the same strategy. And me, I'm really passionate of this, trying with my modest contribution to drive it in here in Romania as well, putting the right actions in place in order to help sustainability to be implemented. What we are doing, it's working a lot with farmers and farmer associations on the agronomic conservative agriculture. It's as well, with the digital, how can we leverage the data to take the right decisions? I told you, some of the decisions will be even having an impact of reducing the products that we are selling. That's perfectly okay, because what's important is to help the farmers to have the right profitability, the right performance, the right yield, with less cost for him, less impact for the environment.
The idea is that if the farmers are winning, we all be winning. Absolutely. At the end of the day. Absolutely.
And there is another direction that we would like to develop. It's, as I mentioned it already, it's this, it's carbon models. This is something that is, I think, just starting in our countries. I think it's very well developed in Latin America, in North America. It's how to help farmers to be part of the solution for the CO2 emissions and how to reduce the CO2 in the atmosphere. Farmers are part of the issue. We are polluting. Agriculture is contributing for something like maybe 1/4 of the CO2 emissions are coming from agriculture. At the same time, the farmers, they are victims of the climate change, because we see it here. The third year in a row with very severe drought. Then recently we had floodings in the eastern part of the country. This is really climate change disasters that are happening, and farmers are suffering from that. But the beauty of agriculture, they can really be the solution to clean the atmosphere, to clean the planet. They can store phenomenal quantities of the green gas in the soil, and this will help the atmosphere to be cleaner, the soil to be healthier, and they will be paid for that.
Let's not forget, 1 hectare of corn is sequestrating as much CO2 as a hectare of oak leaves,
yes.
Oak trees. So this is, this is a good opportunity for the farmers. Now, if you had a chance to implement one major structural change in the Romanian agriculture today, what would that be?
I would say the biggest challenge right now for Romania, it's mitigating the climate change. Because the climate change is there, and it will remain there for many years. I would think about a couple of directions. Number one, it's how to fast develop irrigation in Romania. This is really one of the key aspects. It's how to help farmers to have access to water and help them to manage it in very, I would say, sustainable manner. Invest in irrigation, in smart irrigation. Really make sure that we use the right quantities of water close to the plant. It's a drip irrigation or things like that. I think the most crucial topic for me right now for the next couple of years, it's heavily investing and accelerating irrigation.
Because we are speaking here in a context of digitalization and IT and artificial intelligence, on the long run, what do you think will not be able to be digitalized in the agriculture sector? What will remain non-digital, or if any?
That's good. That's a good question. Digital will be present in everything we do. I would compare agriculture like to us as a normal, I would say, citizens. Today, with our basic smartphone, we have everything inside. We have our bank. We have we can reach out to family. All the services. It takes a few seconds to buy a ticket to go in the other part of the planet. And could we imagine this maybe a few decades ago? No. I think agriculture is exactly in the same trend. Many aspects of agriculture will be totally digitalized, and the artificial intelligence is there to help. But there is one thing that we can never, I would say, replace. I told you that I love fruits and vegetables. I love wine, the terroir, the fact that the quality of the product, the authenticity of the product, it's coming from the soil. And the connection with the nature, connection with the soil, it's absolutely fundamental. And this will remain for me something that we need to preserve. Of course, some crops will be probably developed in the future on artificial soil. We could even imagine buildings for agriculture, vertical farming and everything. But the connection with the nature, for me in agriculture, it will remain one of the key elements going forward.
You mentioned, as a last question, you mentioned your passion for wine, for Romanian wine, for mici. What other community projects or personal hobbies are animating you besides the working hours here in Romania? What do you do?
I told you that I'm here with the family. Romania is one of the most beautiful, I would say, country. The landscape, the forest, the mountains. It's amazing. It's really, I would say, a lot of outdoor activities. I remember the first time when we went to Transylvania, we took the Transfăgărașan, and you have the bears coming to you. And I shared the pictures with my friends in France. They say, "Oh my gosh, that's where are you? It's like another planet." It's outdoor activities, and Romania is phenomenal for that. It's really phenomenal with that. Other activities as well, it's to be engaged as a citizen in other, I would say, activities where we contribute to bring some good for other communities. In Bayer, we have a couple of very important initiatives. We work with NGOs that are planting trees. Whenever we have an opportunity to do so, it's to be part of it. There is another NGO that we are working with. It's because we are as well a pharma company in the healthcare domain, life science. We want to be very inclusive in the way how we help communities to have access to health care. And we partner with one association, with one NGO called Caravana cu Medici. It's sending the doctors to the villages in order to offer a possibility for people that cannot visit a doctor to get the right, I would say, health consultations. So, just a few examples.
Thank you, Boalem, for the inspiring words, and see you in our podcast in 2050 or earlier.
I will be there with great pleasure, Florin.
Boalem, mulțumesc că ai fost alături de noi în o nouă ediție Agritech la Noi Venim din Viitor. Dragii noștri, l-ați auzit pe Boualem Saïdi, Senior Bayer Representative și Country Group Head pentru România, Bulgaria și Moldova la Bayer Crop Science. Mai multe despre el și proiectele companiei sale puteți afla la adresa cropscience.bayer.ro, iar pe noi ne găsiți pe adresa Noi Venim din Viitor, totul legat într-un cuvânt, noivenimdinviitor.ro. Suntem de asemenea pe YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok și Facebook. Ne puteți de asemenea scrie la adresa noivenimdinviitor, totul legat, @gmail.com. Sunt Florin Constantin și vă aștept la Noi Venim din Viitor în ediția Agritech, unde explorăm viitorul agriculturii românești. Să auzim de bine și stați liniștiți, noi venim din viitor și totul este ok.